Okay, here's a little pregame for this Monday night football game. Last week I was talking about discipline. Now I just want you to understand this. The discipline I was talking about was the kicking the guy in the head, the punching the guy in the helmet. Those were the discipline things I was talking about. Now, many of you probably watched that game because it was on in a lot of places. There were so many bad calls against the Browns in that game, and some people did some digging. They found out that there's the same ref who has been the head of refs on all the games in the last 2 years that the Browns have had a lot of bad calls on. If you look at the play that kept getting showed over and over and over again, when Henry got tossed the ball and ran for 80 yards, right behind him as he's catching the ball is one of our defenders getting blocked in the back and held. But that wasn't called. But there were these phantom calls where a guy touched a jersey, like pinched it and let go, and it was a call against us for pass interference. Now, I hope they figure this out and get that guy fired. And I'll tell you, I'm not one to blame games on refs, but there's been some really bad calls against us in just last year alone. If you think about the Raiders game, did anyone see the phantom fumble where there was a scrum for the ball, even though Duke Johnson got out of the pile holding the ball, but they said under that pile was the ball and it went to the Raiders. I don't know how they could determine that if the ball is in Duke Johnson's hand. There was the call against the Ravens where they called it a touchdown, called the play dead. Thing happened in the Saints game yesterday too, where they called a play dead even though it was a fumble. They're not waiting for the fumble. Now that could just be a mistake, got it. But we were the victim of that in 3 or 4 games last year. And in this past game, we had a lot of penalties. 18 called against us. Not many called against the Titans. It's funny how that works. But I don't want to use that as an excuse. We got our butts kicked. We had a problem with discipline. Hopefully we can turn it around in this game. If we don't beat the Jets handily, then there's a problem. I don't think we're going to have an issue with that. I think this is going to be a done game by the second half. But go Browns.